Hey guys, it's Forrest here with Copia Permaculture. Just thought I'd take you out here for a little quick tour of our main crop garden here at Friendly Critters Farm in north of Fort Collins. Yeah, we are leasing this land to run our CSA and sort of some market gardening, farming for restaurants and stuff up in Fort Collins. And yeah, just thought I'd show you what kind of we're getting started with here. It's early March and we're getting the season going here in northern Colorado, so show you a few things. These are all here, some beds that we made last season, and you can see we had about 7 or 8 4-foot wide or so beds with a really kind of diverse mixed crop of vegetables. And then a little further down here we have some Three Sisters plantings that are just sort of single wide rows, and I'm sort of doing just a major revamp of everything. Last season we weren't sure if we'd have anywhere to farm, and this kind of came up last minute as, oh, we could actually do something. So ended up being sort of thrown together a little haphazard. I'm trying to rein it in and get some better weed control going on, and yeah, just more planting, more cropping, and just try to, yeah, really get a good thing going out here and expand the operation. So yeah, you see here we have about actually we're doing 3 beds here. This one has garlic in it from last season, and then these 2 here all have sort of really diverse mixed crop of vegetables. There's you can all see all this old red Russian kale and a few other kales and some root crops and stuff. And really we're just letting that go to seed, so we can collect the seed and keep sort of propagating our seed collection. And then as we move down here, you'll see I have some black plastic laid down, and we did about 1 inch of mushroom compost under that, laid the plastic down, and then as soon as we're ready to plant, we got some rain in the forecast and stuff, we're gonna come in, take that plastic off, let the weed seeds sprout, flame it, plant it, flame it again, and crop that bed super hard. And we're gonna replicate that pretty much all the way down this field, row after row after row, and potentially up to 4 or 5 rows covered at a time until we get down to that fence way over yonder. So gonna be a big mission this year, and probably really the best and most intensive garden I've ever had, so I'm really excited. These beds are also gonna get these sort of little seed saving beds. They're gonna get some more crops thrown in, and there's gonna hopefully be some self-seeding vegetables, like we have some strains of tomatillo that actually come up, and you know, they go to seed every year, and you can get them established as a self-seeding crop. So we're trying to do that, like make sure we weed around those when we see them come up. Kind of hard to find when you got other weeds and stuff coming up, but we've managed it before. So this very last row here, we're actually over the past 2 years, we've put in some perennial bushes, like some Native American plum. We got some gooseberry and European currant up there, and that's going to be a really diverse, not wild, but perennial vegetable border, essentially. So anywhere there's space in there, I'm going to come in with stuff like comfrey, horseradish, asparagus, rhubarb, good King Henry, borage, what else? So many things. Just gonna try to get a really nice diverse mix going in there. The horseradish, I'd love to use it as a salad green or in stir-fry mix. It's just a nice, good, easy to eat, flavorful sort of bulking agent, if you will. It just produces insane amounts of leaves, and of course a delicious root. So got some sage in there. You probably can't see that. Sorry. Let's see here, a little further down here, I'm gonna hop across a couple beds. And new thing I'm trying here, so this is our corn patch, our Three Sisters patch from last season. So Three Sisters, that's corn, beans, and squash, sort of all right next to each other, and the idea is that they help, they all sort of benefit each other. We'll probably do a whole video on that one on its own when we get that going for the season. But so last year we tried just basically single wide, you know, like 1.5, maybe 2 foot wide rows, and it worked. We got a pretty good corn harvest, but it was like really weedy. It was tough to control the weeds, and it was once again sort of thrown together, and we got away from us a little bit. So this year, what I'm trying is I'm skipping every other row, and I'm raking all that debris. You can see like some old corn stalks and leaves and whatever that blew in here from the rest of the field being mulched, and I'm like using those as like little organic matter traps. So I'm filling those rows, and then I'm gonna come in here and dig out these what are gonna be pathways even deeper, and I'm gonna basically just take all that loose soil and bury these all this debris and this corn stalks between the other 2 rows, and then I'm just gonna turn those into a double wide, like basically a 4 foot to 5 foot wide bed. And the idea is that it's basically like a micro hugel culture. If you know what that is, it's just basically bury sticks and any kind of debris, and ideally some good compost and stuff. But this, instead of doing sticks, is going to be the corn stalks and stuff, which will hopefully break down pretty nice throughout the season and basically provide like a slow release compost fertilizer through the season. That's the idea, but that'll only be 4 total beds made like that out of roughly 26 total we should end up with. So, I don't know. It's an experiment, but we can afford to play around a little bit with as much space as I got here. And then, yeah, pretty much, so we're about a third of the way down the field right here. And, oh, sorry, still getting the hang of this filming stuff. And here's kind of where our cornfield ended last season. And we had some pigs on this field, sort of from here over to the driveway there. Basically sort of on and off over the last, I don't know, year or so, just like a few months on, a few months off. The landowner had some pigs. My friend Jer, who was helping me farm, he has some pigs, or had some pigs. Those are in the freezer now. But basically we got them off this whole section of the field about 2 months ago. So, and then back in November, this whole field was mulched with leaves, or basically from the corn field down. And yeah, the idea is sort of progressively add beds in this direction using the same method of essentially digging out or tilling up the pathways and heaping that soil onto the beds, loosening that with a broad fork. Some of this we might end up having to use the tractor to do a little initial tilling so it can really form nice deep beds depending on how compacted it is ending up at that time. The pigs definitely were on here a little longer than I would have liked to, but kicking the soil now, you know, it seems pretty nice. It's definitely, this mulch helped a lot. And yeah, we're gonna basically replicate the same method that I described a minute ago and add beds. Yeah, sort of progressively moving towards more warm season and heavy feeders the closer we get to where the pigs were most concentrated, essentially, because that'll be late in the season enough that, you know, it's safe to grow or to harvest crops out of that, and it'll be getting the most nutrient and fertilizer from all that pig manure. So yeah, you know, that's kind of basically the field. I got a nice pile of mushroom compost here. Love using that stuff. You know, there's no seeds and stuff in it. And then we got a little ditch running along this side of the field, and that's where we get our irrigation water. And that actually terminates at the end of the property. It kind of just pools up in there. So one thing I'm hoping to do is take recycled smart pots, like big 25-gallon ones, fill them with good soil and compost, and basically put them in that ditch. So anytime I go to irrigate the field, they're basically being flooded from the bottom, and be able to just, I mean, our soil here is so heavy, it's such a pain to grow melons, and I want melons so bad. So I'm gonna try that. Wish me luck. And yeah, hopefully I'll have some more videos for you guys coming up soon, and field will look a little prettier. But that's all dependent on hard work, so we'll see. All right, guys, thanks. Peace.